This is the answers to the spiral, the algebra 1 spiral on inequalities. Directions very straightforward. Solve and graph. Please indicate your final answer by circling. I would assume, let's go through and I'll go down the left-hand side first. In order to graph these, we obviously have to solve them initially. Minus 7, 2, m is greater than 10, divided by 2, m is greater than 5. Circle my answer. I'm going to put 5, do a couple other ones. Open circle because there's no line underneath. M is on the big side, so my inequality goes to the right. Number 2, again, split it down the middle. Do a different color. Split it down the middle. The 3x and the 2 are kind of flip-flops, so I add the 2. Isolate my term first, add 2. Negative 3x is greater than or equal to 4. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. X, this is negative 4/3, and the symbol also flips. So sort of a tricky one right off the bat in question number 2. This is negative 4/3. I'm going to make this negative 3/3 because the negatives go backwards, and this is negative 5/3. It's a closed circle because of the line underneath, and x is on the small side, which means it goes to the left. Again, I'm going by thirds, since it was negative 4/3. I did negative 4/3, negative 3/3, and negative 5/3. Filled it in, x on the small side, shade to the left. Question 3 finally features some multi-step variables on both sides. Got to clean up the left side, it's already cleaned up. Clean up the right side, already cleaned up. Now I deal with the fact there's variables on both sides. I'm going to get rid of the negative 2x and add 2x to both sides. So that way I don't have negative coefficients. 7x and 2x is 9x minus 1 is less than 26. Add 1, 9x is less than 27. Divide by 9, x is less than 3. 3, 4, 2, so 2, 3, 4. Open circle, x on the small side, so I shade to the left. Number 4, again, variables on both sides, but first thing I have to do is clean up this side. Is there any distributive property or cleaning up I can do? No, then I'm done. Any distributive property or cleaning up I can do? No, then I'm done with step 1. Step 2 is deal with the fact that there are variables on both sides. Subtract 2x, subtract 2x. 5 is less than x minus 7. 3x minus 2x is 1x. Add 7. X is on the big side of 12. So when I graph this, 12, 13, 11, so 11, 12, 13. It's an open circle, but more importantly, you can't just look at the arrow. It does not go this way because x is on the big side. X is on the big side, and the big numbers are there. You're graphing what x is. Since x is on the big side, small side, big side, so x on the big side, I shade to the right. Finishing this off, this column, number 5, this is a situation where you want to isolate this term, but it's still all glued together by the 5. So you might be tempted to add 3. That would be incorrect. I'm not ready to add 3 because this can't be separated. It's held together by this division. So if you added 3, that would be the incorrect step. The first thing you got to do is get rid of this fraction. So I multiply by 5, multiply by 5, and now it's 2x minus 3 is less than 35. Be careful because if I had multiplied by a negative 5, this symbol would have flipped. But I just multiplied by 5, so it's 35. And now these terms can be separated. Add 3. 2x is less than 38. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is less than 19. 19, 20, 18, 19, 20. Open circle because there's no line underneath. X is on the small side, which is to the left. Moving back up top to number 6 on the right. Variables on both sides, but first I gotta clean this up. Is there any cleaning up to do? 9r plus 15, any distributive property, combine like terms? No. Same thing on the right, nothing to do. Subtract 9r, now I have variables on both sides. 15 is greater than or equal to 24 plus r. So 10 minus 9 is 1r. Minus 24, r is on the small side of negative 9. I put negative 9, this is negative 8, that's negative 10. Closed circle, because more ink means more ink. and r is on the small side, which means it goes to the left. R is on the small side. If you had taken away the 10r, you would have gotten the r on that side, but then when you divide by a negative, the symbol would have flipped, you would have gotten this. It's the same thing. R is still on the small side, which means it goes to the left. We'll look at question number 7. This is finally one that requires us to do quite a bit of cleaning up first. The left side is nothing to clean up, it's 4y plus 2. The right side, however, we do have some distributive property. I know it doesn't look like the distributive property, and you might be tempted to write 8y minus 6y minus 10, but that would be incorrect. If you got minus 6y then minus 10, that would be incorrect, because if you did that, you did not subtract everything. It's really distributing a negative to the 6y and a negative to the 10. Well, what negative are you distributing? Well, it's a negative 1. You're also just subtracting both of them. Subtract 6y, so it's minus 6y, and a negative is a positive 10. So now I've distributed, still have to combine these like terms. 4y plus 2 is less than 2y plus 10. Still more work to do. This is clean and this is clean, but I have variables on both sides. Minus 2y minus 2y. 2y plus 2 is less than 10. Minus 2 minus 2. Got to move over here because I'm running out of space. This is 2y on the left is less than 10 minus 2 is 8. Divided by 2 divided by 2. Y is less than 4. So that's my answer. So 4, 3, and 5. Open circle. Y is on the small side, so I shade to the left. Tricky one because of the negative. If you got a negative 10 here, your whole answer is going to be wrong. You probably got y is less than negative 6, even though it should have been a positive 10, which when you subtract, it's only 8, not negative 12. You got to be careful with your signs. It'll mess everything up. Number 8, plenty of cleaning up to do on the left. The good news is the right side is all done. It's just 4h. Well, let's do some cleaning up. Let's distribute. Whoosh, whoosh. 5 times 2h is 10h. 5 times negative 6 is a negative 30. Now another thing to be careful of, just like on number 7, you're not distributing a 7, you're distributing a negative 7. That's subtraction. Again, keep, change is a negative 7 that's being distributed. Anyway, negative 7 times h is negative 7h, and a negative 7 times a negative 7, negative times negative is negative times a positive, negative 7 times positive is minus 49. Is greater than 4h. So I've distributed properly, now I have to combine my like terms. 10h minus 7h, 10h minus 7h is a 3h, and a negative 30 and a negative 49 is a negative 79 is greater than 4h. So you have to be careful with your signs. It's not difficult. Use your calculator, take your time, pay attention to the positives and negatives. Variables on both sides. Let's subtract 3h, subtract 3h. Negative 79 is greater than, well, 4h minus 3h, that's h. So I actually end up being done right there. Negative 79, negative 78, and negative 80. Remember the negatives are backwards also. Open circle because there's no line underneath. Less ink is less ink. And h is on the small side. Again, there's the big side and the small side. H is on the small side, which is to the left. Number 9 gets us back into the swing with fractions. So we want to get rid of this fraction. Again, you might be tempted to add 4. That would be incorrect because these terms are not yet separated. You're not able to separate them because they're held together, they're glued together by this fraction on the outside. So I can't add 4, I can't separate the terms yet. What I have to do is multiply by the reciprocal, or at the minimum, the denominator. So you could multiply by the denominator 3, or multiply by the full reciprocal, in this case 3 over 1. In this specific case, multiplying by just the denominator or multiplying by the full reciprocal is the same thing. So let's just multiply by 3. Those cancel. My 2x minus 4 is less than or equal to 12. Remember, if this is a negative, if I multiply by a negative on this side, this symbol would flip, but it happens to be a positive, so they don't flip. Add 4, add 4. 2x is less than or equal to 16. Divided by 2, divided by 2. X is less than or equal to 8. 8, 9, 79. Make sure your number line is properly labeled. Circle more ink means more ink, and X is on the small side, which means we go to the left. Question number 10, the last one. Again, I'm going to get rid of this 10 just so you can see it better. What we can do with this is we can just multiply by the denominator of 5 times 5. If you multiply by just the denominator, the numerator is still there, so I still have some distributing to do, but you are allowed to do that now we've totally eliminated fractions. You certainly can do that. Or you can multiply by the full reciprocal 5 over 2, and that cancels the 2 out. You just have to multiply this side by 5 over 2. 8 times 5 over 2 would be 8 over 1. 8 times 5 is 40. 1 times 2 is 2, so that's 20. So I would make this 20, and I could solve this one. Let's do the trick where we just multiply by the denominator. So that way, when I multiply by just the denominator, times 5, it just gets rid of the denominator, times 5, it just gets rid of the denominator, so I still have the numerator which needs to be distributed. Should end up with the same answer. Now I can distribute, whoosh, whoosh, 2x minus 8 is greater than 40. Now it's a normal two-step, plus 8 plus 8, 2x is greater than 48, divide by 2, divide by 2, x is greater than 24. So we have 24, and this guy, 25, 23, 24, 25, open circle. Since x is on the big side, I shade to the right, which is the big numbers. These multi-steps are just like regular equations, multi-step equations. Make sure you clean up each side, and it's just some added graphing at the end.